So is it going to change now? We have a very high level Sabertooth. We have Overlords, Typhoons and Scorpions even. He goes for the Sabertooth, as do I. Have some pretty tanky units here. And my idea is to finish it up with this Sabertooth at field maintenance. Having a unit that he plain can't kill is going to waste too much damage on. And, like, all of these units are several giants worth of health. We have some Wasps for my opponent. An anti-air measure, definitely a good idea in my opinion. And he instantly double attacks them with both range and area spec. He also throws down oil. I could effectively see it coming because this is the round where you usually put out all that you can. So am I. I'm doing the same. Trying to have this Vulcan ignite whatever is in the middle. And he goes for Firestorm Callers as if everything else wasn't enough already. Mobile beacon as well. What am I mobile? Oh yeah, I wanted to have a sort of attack squad straight towards the tower. Fire ignites his entire side here. That marksman is not going to live for much longer, I wager. However, my wasps are just glorified target bait. And even the Wraith is not going to live long. This marksman has enough health to get something done. The Wasp's also gunning down. Will it be enough? Well, it will not be enough. Because guess what? I win massively on the ground, but I have nothing left in the air. My entire amount of ground units can no longer shoot up. This thing does not cover the tower, so the Wasps... It's actually interesting. The projectiles, because they come in from an angle, actually hit the shield. So the shield is an actual physical object as well that blocks things, even if it's not technically covering the point that is supposed to get hit. I no longer have the damage on the board to kill my opponent here. And the Wasps just keep eating. They will not be able to kill this Saber though. I have some Fangs here, but they don't have the DPS to kill all of the Wasps. And even if they did, it's not enough. My opponent has less than 400 health, which means one giant that I have stays alive, and that's it. Another tech specialist potentially, but are you going to buy that many more techs? Well, my opponent thinks so. I went for the shield here. I need as much tempo as I can get, and just getting a lot of extra health for not a whole lot of everything else is good. I drop down 2 fortresses. I can put the shield on one of these. I miscalculated if memory serves. I was thinking I could get another fort, but no, it's not in the money. My opponent, for reasons that I'm not entirely aware, I assume it's countermeasures against these units, is getting acid, which I guess is fine. It's definitely worth it. And then he puts down Arclight range, rather than investing into a Vulcan that's already level 2. And with Scorch, which only costs 100, could probably ignite my entire army and burn it. I throw down... No, actually, that shield stayed alive. Yeah, and that shield is the barrier. I didn't throw down any additional shields. I'm not 100% certain why my opponent is using shields, though. Anyway, I am going all in, and my opponent probably is as well. It doesn't yet have temp speed, though. Instead, he gets additional Firestorm Callers. Some acid landing, but it's not of any actual consequence. My opponent now has fire and acid, which is usually the death of literally all ground units. And my unfortunate units are moving in. At the same time, however, the Wasps kind of just get cleaned up. Shield here went down against massive amounts of damage. And that fort is killing the Wasps, but it's not killing enough. And at the same time, it's just in the acid. Some of the last few Wasps do die. It is definitely a battle to the finish. But we kind of have each other's tower. We kind of are on the throats of each other's tower, but my opponent is faster. He wins it, and I am very afraid right now. We have Phoenixes here. We have a melting point and a bunch of Mustangs here that could all potentially get something done. Technically, I think I could even go into anti-missile and kind of keep that away, but there is arc lights and a Vulcan for chaff clear. My opponent is going for these Mustangs. I'm not 100% sure why. Is he going for missile protection? I don't know. I do go and grab myself the melting point just to sell it. And then it's time to thread the needle. Because my opponent does have a lot of crawlers. Here, and I guess here, and on this side. He has nothing in the middle that can spout acid. I do get a good load of extra fortresses in the hopes of just clearing out the wasps before they become a problem. And the mobile beacon is basically my new attack squad. Instead of going for a tower, it's going for the middle. Shields should give my army a good amount of extra health. My opponent once again shields against imaginary threats. I'm not entirely sure what he's shielding against. Maybe it's just the same thing that I'm shielding against, just extra health. With the difference that I get a lot of extra health for the amount of money that I used, I think. Well, actually no, I get 5 shields for 600, I think it is. And my opponent gets 2 shields for 200. So my shields are less effective, though of course in the next round they will become worth it, I wager. The wasps get shredded and my units are threading. That is the only way I can put it. The entire area here is acided, but they find a sort of spot in the middle that they can still go through, where there isn't a whole lot of acid. And I just absolutely enjoyed this move here. Threading the needle and putting my units where the acid isn't. There is nothing really left to oppose my Stormcrawlers. My Giants stayed alive for too long, and it's just plain the end here. All in all, if you look at the health, that was a pretty big swing, but I really liked the plays my opponent did, with the exception of the Vulcan. Like, the Wasps were a good call. They kept him in the game for quite a while, because I had basically only anti-ground. And then I threw on some Wasps, which technically are anti-air, but I never had an intention of actually using them. They were only meant to distract the marksmen, because my opponent's army was kind of the same. But I couldn't finish it, so I had to resort to some tricks, and one of these tricks was simply threading the needle. Threading the needle with fortresses, who would have guessed? Well, thanks for everybody, for watching, listening, and let's switch this one around and see how my opponent could have won. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely think that melting points have to be better here. Like, let's just go mass melter and see how it goes. We have firestorm callers. So why the F not? And I think some of these wasps can definitely go. Or maybe there's something else. Honestly, that Vulcan, as good as Vulcans are, is doing nothing productive, I think. Let's just throw range on there. It's super cheap. And get another melting point. And then we kind of have melting points for days here. Let's put the stronger one on the inside. Or maybe that is predicting too much. Let's keep it here. So that it can maybe eat all of these units. It still won't be far away anyway. And probably just put down some levels on marksmen. Maybe prefer the higher level marksmen. Let's roll and see how this one goes. So it does lock onto something that can definitely be classified as a giant as far as health goes. All of quote-unquote my wasps are already dead. That thing is absolutely not happy. Fortresses are locked because the firestorms have killed the chaff. I think this is looking good here. Acid's only making it worse for this fort here. It basically just evaporates against the melter, and I think this mass melter play is just it. Yep. Woo! That would have killed me, I think. Well, no. I still had so much health. But it would have given me an absolutely insane amount of trouble. And probably the only way that I could have even remotely contested would have been with going even on wasps and winning the air war hard. And even then I wouldn't be too sure. Yeah, that definitely was the right move instead of the Mustangs. Alright, now, thanks everybody for watching and listening. And until next time.